Tonight, no one was to blame. Schoolboy Hamdan Aslam died of natural causes. As tributes are paid, his parents say rumours surrounding his death have compounded their grief.
He's a really nice, quiet person.
All my nation is very sad because that's his good, only 14-year-old boys. That's too sad.
Also making the headlines, warnings of water shortages as emergency supplies are shipped into some areas of the country.
In sports, tempers flare as Scotland's Josh Taylor puts his boxing world title on the line in New York City.
And I'll be in a sunny Rjukan Glen Park, checking out Scotland's major new trad festival, The Reeling.
I'm Emma Cameron in Edinburgh.
And I'm John Mackay in Glasgow. This is the STV News at 6.
Good evening. There is no one to blame for his loss. It was God's will. The words issued by the family of the 14-year-old boy who died at St Kentigern's Academy in West Lothian on Tuesday. It was confirmed by police that Hamdan Aslam died of natural causes from a pre-existing heart condition that went undetected.
His family have issued a strongly worded statement saying the misinformation and rumours on social media have only compounded their grief. Well, our reporter Ivana Holland has been following this story all week.
Yes, well, as I've reported through the week, it's been incredibly sad here in Blackburn and the surrounding area. But as soon as the news was reported about Hamdan Aslam's death, so too came unsubstantiated rumours online about exactly what happened. And in that meant that threats were directed at the school here and the staff at St Kentigern's. And they said that has left them feeling incredibly bruised and unable to grieve for the very student they tried to save. A room full this afternoon with thoughts dedicated to the memory of Hamdan Aslam, the 14-year-old who lost his life earlier this week. His death has been confirmed to be from natural causes. His community has been mourning his loss.
He was a really nice, quiet person. It's just really sad, and you can't describe it.
Yes, very sad. All my nation is very sad because that's his good, only 14-year-old boys. That's too sad. It's the same like my son, you know that. That's that.
It's very heart-wrenching, and everyone is very, grief about it. And hopefully the parents and the loved ones and everyone else is, would be able to cope up with it in the timely manner. Yeah.
One of the mosque's trustees says everyone is in shock.
Overall, this death has been quite traumatic for the whole community. I think as a whole, not just for the Muslims. It's been very difficult for everyone at St Kentigern's Academy. There has been a lot of comments on social media and conspiracies which have been posted online. But for now, what we would like is for the family to have peace and allow them to grieve in peace. Pray for Hamdan, pray for his family, pray for his soul.
Police confirmed today, following a post-mortem, that Hamdan Aslam's death was from an undetected heart condition. It meant his death could have occurred at any time. His family released a strongly worded statement expressing their devastation at his sudden passing, but urging anyone who engaged in sharing untruthful posts on social media to stop and take them down, adding it was unhelpful to the children who were upset and it was only compounding the family's grief. In the last 3 days, the staff here at St Kentigern School have been besieged by threats from across the UK due to those rumours put about online. In a statement, the head teacher, Andrew Sharkey, described Hamdan as an exemplary student, always happy and with a beautiful smile. Lessons for social media conduct in such times will surely be a question for the future. But now, a family grieves for the death of a beloved son. Ivana Holland, STV News, Blackburn.
Emergency water supplies are being delivered to areas across the country as we start to see the effects of an early drought. The Scottish Environment and Protection Agency's latest report has highlighted the Central Belt now has a heightened alert status for water scarcity.
While groundwater levels don't affect water supplies in our homes, levels in reservoirs do. Well, Courtney Cameron joins us now from the Carron Valley Reservoir. So how are things looking there, Courtney?
Well, Emma, it's been another beautiful day with no rainfall. And while reservoirs like this may look reasonably full, the reality is across the country they're actually holding 5% less water than they were at this time last week. Now, for this time of the summer, those levels are below average and it is causing concern. But the message is don't panic. We're all just being asked to be more considerate about the amount of water we're using over the next few weeks. The flowers are in plentiful supply, but the same can't be said for the water at this garden centre in Larbert. The dry weather is already affecting business here.
It's causing a bit of an issue for watering the plants, as you can imagine. We've got thousands of plants at this time of year. It's very busy with customers. We do have water tanks where we collect the rainwater that comes in and store it, and that lasts maybe a week or so, but unfortunately we've had no rain, as I say, for a month, so we've been running off mains water.
Just 20 miles along the road, Scottish Water tankers have been moving water from reservoirs to fill up reserve tanks in Kippen to ensure homes there are still receiving their usual supply.
For the last 10 days we've been out constantly, both in the Highlands and here. Normally you'd be expecting this kind of job in July, and we're started in the end of May.
Kippen is just one of a few rural areas across the country that's currently being topped up with water for households at the moment. But with more warm and dry weather on the way, Scottish Water is encouraging people to be more considerate with the amount they're using to prevent operations like this having to be carried out elsewhere.
Our volume of water that we see going out with customers has gone up by around about 150 million litres a day over the last 2 weeks. And we believe that that's mainly due to outdoor use.
So what can people do to help this situation?
In the garden, maybe not use a sprinkler or hose, choose to use a watering can instead. Or if you're in the kitchen, make sure that your washing machine is fully loaded or your dishwasher is fully loaded so that you're making the best use of the water that you do use.
According to the Environment Agency SEPA's latest report, the entire Central Belt now has a heightened alert status for groundwater scarcity. In the north, it's more serious, with significant shortages being reported in the Lochmaree area. Farmers are urged to be extra cautious.
There's advice on our website for abstractors to reduce their water use, to stagger abstractions with their neighbours and to do all they can to conserve water, and by doing that we can hopefully extend the period before we might have to step in and put in place restrictions.
Even though we're expecting some rainfall over the next few days, experts say it'll do little to alleviate the current situation.
We have had less rainfall across Scotland so far this year. We had a dry winter followed by a very dry spring in parts of western and northwestern Scotland. Then we've had the recent dry spell with high pressure, and it's led to some very low river levels.
Dry weather also means there is an increased risk of wildfires.
From our point of view, what's really important is that whether in amongst vegetation of any sort, that they don't use a naked flame, whether that be a barbecue, a stove even in amongst vegetation at the moment would be a risk in itself.
The Scottish Government is also urging people and businesses to use water carefully as demand rises. It says it's monitoring the situation closely and making preparations in the event the hot weather continues. Courtney Cameron, STV News.
Other stories, and the defence firm BAE Systems has been awarded a 10-year contract worth £270 million to work in the Royal Navy's 3 main radar systems. The contract with the Ministry of Defence will see BAE engineers support the rollout of new technology on vessels, including the new Type 26 frigates, which the company is currently building in Glasgow.
Thousands of people across Scotland who care for loved ones are to receive an extra payment. Those who are getting the carer's allowance will automatically receive the £270.50 from Social Security Scotland. There are an estimated 800,000 unpaid carers in Scotland, including 30,000 under the age of 18.
Childline delivered more than 8,000 counselling sessions to children in Scotland last year. The top concerns included mental health, family relationships and friendship issues. The children's charity NSPCC is celebrating Childhood Day to raise funds and awareness for the service.
One of the things that we hear from children and young people at the moment is that the services there to support mental health are ever pressurised, and it's harder for them to access the support that they need when they need it. So they tend to come through to Childline talking about how they feel, what's impacting their mental health.
There's a call for individual cigarettes to have health warnings. The charity Ash Scotland wants Holyrood to follow in the footsteps of Canada, who will become the first country in the world to require such messages on each cigarette. The Scottish Government says it's considering a range of next steps as it aims to lower smoking rates. A foster carer who repeatedly sexually abused 2 young girls in Fife has been jailed for 10 years. The High Court heard Roderick McGregor's attacks on one of the girls in Kirkcaldy began when she was just 6. The other was raped between the ages of 8 and 10. The victims later found the courage to report what had happened. The judge said McGregor had shown no remorse and had to be sent to prison. Edinburgh will welcome the new King and Queen next month with a series of events to mark the coronation. Thousands are expected to line the streets for processions on the Royal Mile before the monarch is presented with the Scottish Crown Jewels at St Giles Cathedral. The event, which will also feature a fly-past by the Red Arrows and a 21-gun salute from Edinburgh Castle, will mark the first time King Charles and Queen Camilla have visited the country since the coronation next month. Now, open-air swimmers are celebrating after an Edinburgh beach was given official bathing water status. Campaigners have spent years calling for Wardie Bay to be included in a national water monitoring programme. They say the move will help tackle pollution and encourage more people to take pride in their coastline. Kay Nicholson reports.
This beach is popular whatever the weather. But unlike many other swimming hotspots around Scotland's coast, it's not been classed as an official bathing water. Until now.
We're just delighted to be able to say this is now a protected beach, and all of you can know whether the water you're swimming in is good today or if it's the trouble, we can do something about it.
Wardie Bay joins almost 90 sites on SEPA's designated bathing water list. The agency takes water quality samples over the summer, with all findings published online, meaning users can be better informed about pollution levels. There are hopes all this will encourage everyone to look after this stretch of coastline.
Since I've been cleaning the beach a little while ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, the amount of stuff that we used to find on the beach, I think a lot of the time it's the same stuff coming in and out every day, and already the quality of the beach has improved so vastly. So I can only hope that now having the status as well, it means it'll just get better and better. And being the mum of a little boy, it means the world to me.
Lucy has been swimming here for 3 years.
I'm hoping now we've got bathing water status, it's going to help keep it clean, and it's going to help kind of put a bit of responsibility on those who maybe pollute the area, and yeah, just get recognised for the lovely but scrappy wee beach we are, really.
Of course, taking a dip in the Forth isn't everyone's cup of tea.
See, when it's like nice on a sunny afternoon and they're doing the swimming, I don't think I'm brave enough to try it yet.
But that's not stopping these beach lovers from getting into the spirit.
Do you know what, I just think it's fantastic. The local community have brought everyone together to do this on the beach, especially what was a sunny day. It's a fantastic evening. Everybody's having a great time.
To the ocean! And no doubt Wardie Bay will attract many more visitors in the months ahead. Kay Nicholson, STV News, Edinburgh.
Ronnie has a sport and another classic boxing standoff, Ronnie.
Yes, indeed, John. Big weekend of fighting, and it's safe to say sparks were flying in the Big Apple. Good evening. Josh Taylor says he's ready to make another dream a reality by defeating Teofimo Lopez and retaining his world titles in New York City. There were fiery scenes as the pair finally met face to face ahead of the headline bout at the world-famous Madison Square Garden. Here's Jamie Borthwick.
After months of trash talk from opposite sides of the Atlantic, the Taylor versus Lopez grudge match moved to another level when they faced off in person.
You know what I mean? This guy, no one really has called out Josh Taylor. Who knows why? Maybe because he beat everybody already. So for me, I'm here. I'm here to come in there and take everything that you got. That's what we are, a takeover.
Aye, good. I can't wait till you come and try. Can't wait.
Oh, ain't no trying with me, man. Yeah. That's just the thing, though.
That's all it's going to be. It's going to be
everybody got a plan till they get punched in the face. Shout out to Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson again. Here we go. Clown.
The Big Apple plays host to Scotland's biggest boxing export since the late Ken Buchanan in the early hours of Sunday morning. It's a moment Taylor has been waiting for his whole career. Undefeated, undisputed, and desperate to make more history.
For me, this is a dream come true. You know, fighting in a place like this, topping the bill, bringing the travelling fans over. The Tartan Army's coming over as well. So yeah, I can't wait to get in there on Saturday and another dream come to becoming a reality. So yeah, this is brilliant, and this clown here sitting in my way on Saturday is in my way. It's just another piece of cannon fodder. That's all he is.
The pre-fight heat has been turned up. Will Taylor have the cool head to see off his opponent when the bell rings for round one at Madison Square Garden? Jamie Borthwick, STV News.
To football, and Ange Postecoglou has spoken for the first time since leaving Celtic for Tottenham, saying he's excited to get started with the Premier League club. The Australian's time in the Parkhead hot seat came to an end this week as he signed a 4-year deal with the North London club.
I can assure you that right through pre-season we won't leave any stone unturned, myself, the staff and the players, to make sure that when the league comes around that you'll all be as excited as I am about the season ahead. So I really look forward to seeing everyone at the stadium, in particular at our first home game, and look forward to the journey ahead.
Now, it's not an honest way to run a football club. The words of the Jags Foundation after Partick Thistle reported losses of almost £300,000. They say budgeting errors by the board meant the Jags could have run out of money last season, but the fans group hope to engage with the club and supporters to provide investment.
The blunt truth is that if we hadn't managed to win on penalties against Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup and draw Rangers, we would have lost well in excess of £500,000 this season. And because of the way the errors in the budget, we potentially might not have been able to pay the wages in February or in May. And that's not a sustainable way to run a football club. It's not an honest way to run a football club.
Finally, rugby, and Scotland captain Jamie Ritchie says they're determined to improve on a strong Six Nations campaign when they head to the World Cup in September. The skipper was speaking as he took a break from the Scots warm-up camp to return to his home club, as Stephanie Daly can explain.
Hi, my name's Jamie Ritchie. Play for Scotland.
Jamie Ritchie takes time out from Scotland's first World Cup warm-up camp to inspire the next generation at his first club, Madras Rugby, in St Andrews.
It's a pretty cool feeling. I think part of the reason we do what we do is to kind of give back and give those kids the dreams that you had when you were a young kid, and kind of inspire that next generation. So yeah, it's a nice feeling to be doing that here at my home club.
The Scotland captain led the Scots to a successful Six Nations campaign earlier this year, finishing a very respectable third. But he's determined to ensure they prove even more of a match for the world's best in September's World Cup in France, which will see Scotland compete in Pool B alongside South Africa, Ireland, Tonga and Romania.
I think just kind of working on the things that we've got better at. I think we know that it wasn't perfect. Like, there's a couple of games in there that we were not necessarily frustrated with, but we knew we could have done a little bit better. So it's just trying to find those little bits of growth and bring them into our game and get those kind of consistent 80-minute performances where we can compete with the best teams in the world.
And Ritchie says continuity is key after head coach Gregor Townsend signed a new deal until April 2026.
I think it's great to kind of have that knowledge that that's going to be the way it is for the next few years. I think it'll give guys confidence knowing that with them they've got a little bit of money in the bank, and they kind of know that the trajectory that the team's on, and that little bit of continuity as well. So yeah, it's a great thing for us.
And the Scots will be backed by an enthusiastic support in their first warm-up test against Italy at Murrayfield next month. Stephanie Daly, STV News.
Last bit of news, and it's from the world of golf, and Scotland's Richie Ramsay is currently third in the Scandinavian mixed event in Stockholm. This monster eagle putt on the 15th helped the Scot on his way to a round of 10 under par on day 2, but it's currently not good enough. He's 7 shots back on runaway leader Dale Whitnell. Reminds me of me when I'm on the putting green. That's your spot.
Thanks for that, Ronnie. Well, it's been another glorious day out there, but is it set to last? Here's Joe Farrow with hopefully some good news.
Get set.
Hello, we are going to finally lose this fresh feeling air. There is warm and humid air pulling its way up through Scotland at the weekend, lifting the temperatures, but also some clusters of heavy, thundery showers. The focus of those starts on Saturday night across western areas, but could nudge its way across more of Scotland through the weekend. So for tonight, we've still got the settled weather, the easterly breeze. That is beginning to veer around towards the southeast at the weekend, so a change on the way. But again, we'll see the HAR coming in, the low cloud, and that will affect the temperatures. Clearer spells inland could see the temperatures dipping down to around 6 or 7. So there may be a grey start early on, but soon enough the sunshine will appear and it is going to feel warmer. It will also feel quite close and humid by the afternoon as that sunshine gets going, and the breeze coming up from the southeast does mean we should see temperatures lifting, perhaps Edinburgh finally up to around 21, whereas inland we could see up to around 25. So it's feeling warmer, more humid and close. That continues as we go into Sunday. Through Saturday night into Sunday, there will be this weather warning for heavy, thundery showers for western and northwestern Scotland, but they could begin to affect more areas as we go through Sunday into Monday. So just something to keep an eye on through the weekend.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
A small town on the Firth of Clyde is celebrating after not one but 2 establishments were named the best in the UK.
The train station at Wemyss Bay as well as the butcher shop have both come out on top in national competitions. Both had to beat off dozens of entrants to take the highly coveted top spots. Susan Ripple reports.
There's a team of locals here in Wemyss Bay who work hard to make this more than just a train station. And now their dedication has paid off. It's been named the best in the UK.
This stood out because people remember it as being an iconic station. They look into the stories behind it. They hear about the volunteers doing their work. And really joy and love, dedication, those kind of things are what make it. In fact, there's a train coming in now, as you can see, another sort of load of tourists coming in to use it. And also as well, it's a used station, it's a useful station.
The volunteers ensure there are always flowers in the station, and they've transformed disused offices, turning one into a community bookshop.
If you look at the visitors book in the bookshop, you find people from all over the world, and they're remembering their trips to Rothesay, Dunnawata, train to Wemyss Bay, ferry to Butte. Childhood memories which stick in the mind. So I think it's one of these signature buildings.
They've got that sense of pride, that sense of achievement, that the things that they do day in, day out to make the station look fantastic, with the flowers and the artworks and the statues and the cleanliness of the station, and the station staff who obviously help customers with their onward journeys onto the ferries and the surrounding community. I think it's just given them that real spurt to continue doing what they're doing and filled them with great pride.
And it's not just the train station winning accolades. Right across the road, they've won UK Butcher of the Year. Nigel entered the competition in January. In the months that followed, mystery shoppers made a number of visits to judge it.
It's a fantastic accolade, and also from a team that strives so hard for excellence. Some of the team, Ian has been with me 17 years, who does all the counter and puts all the counter together. Jim, who makes the sausages, 25 years, and so on and so on. So a lot of staff have really been with us a long time, and they are over the moon, as am I.
And it may be a small village, but as these awards show, it's punching well above its weight. Susan Ripple, STV News, Wemyss Bay.
Well done, Wemyss Bay. And finally, a major new music festival is launching this weekend on the south side of Glasgow, featuring some of the biggest names in traditional music.
Yes, that's right. 10,000 visitors will be soaking up the sun and the music at the 2-day event that's been organised by the creators of Sky Live. Polly Bartlett's been to check out the site before it opens to the public tomorrow.
Final preparations and final rehearsals. The Reeling Festival is just one day away from welcoming music fans for the very first time.
I was so excited when I heard there was a festival like this going to be so close to home, because that never happens. So I was just like, oh, I didn't even realise how needed this was, but that makes so much sense. Like, why does it not exist already? Sometimes I see people more outside of the country than I do here, so it's so ideal to have a festival in the hub of where it all happens, because we're always playing in the sessions and places like this, and we all know each other, and yeah, it's kind of like a homecoming festival for us, so it's really exciting.
The festival site is huge. Behind me we have the main stage, which is where some of the biggest names in trad music will be performing, and if you follow me over here through the trees is the second stage, and that will feature emerging artists, plus one of the best things about a festival, the food. This is the first major outdoor traditional music festival to take place in the Central Belt. It's been created by the organiser of the ever-popular Sky Live.
They like to look around and just find really exciting bands. There's a lot of great, exciting bands they've been about for a long time, but bands that are also up and coming, you know, like bands like Talus, who've had a huge growth in the last few years. Yeah, I think it's easy to pigeonhole traditional music is one type of thing, but there's a load of different sounds, and there's some more contemporary stuff, there's more stuff that's rooted in the kind of the old tunes.
And a surprise last-minute addition to the bill is Cammy Barnes, fresh from the Britain's Got Talent stage.
I was the only Scottish person. I was flying the flag for Scotland, so yeah, I had a beautiful experience doing that until I got put out by a guy in his pants, but I'm at it. We're playing amazing festivals in Scotland. Life's good. Went on Lorraine Kelly during the BGT campaign, and Lorraine's been like a wee mammy to me recently. She's been retweeting all my tweets, and yeah, I feel totally hard having Lorraine in my corner fighting for me. So I've got the best corner ever.
10,000 visitors will be welcomed to the park this weekend, making the Reeling the perfect place to soak up the sun and the best artists in Scottish music. Polly Bartlett, STV News, on the south side of Glasgow.
Well, we'll have more from the Reeling on What's on Scotland at 7.
From all of us here, have a great weekend. Good night.
Bye-bye.